Tēnā koutou whānau. This video is recorded on the 3rd of June 2022. Today I would like to share with you the information I have regarding Zeta Mary Ann Hall, whose maiden name was LOWE. Here we can see a chart showing Zeta and her parents, Thomas George Frederick LOWE, and his wife Eva Olive LOWE, whose maiden name was Coles. Zeta was the second child in the marriage. Her older brother Eric was born in 1919 and passed away also in 1919 as an infant. Zeta ended up having many brothers and sisters, but she was the second child of the marriage. Here we can see Zeta's birth certificate. Zeta was born on the 26th of August 1920 at what appears to say Nurse Bennett's private hospital in Inglewood from Norfolk Road. I'm not clear exactly what it means by from Norfolk Road, but it does seem pretty clear that she was born at that hospital in Inglewood. We can see here Zeta's name recorded as Zeta Mary Ann. Note that the name Ann is spelt A-double-N and does not end in an E. And she was recorded as female. Zeta's father is listed as Thomas George Frederick LOWE, a farmer, aged 32, from Upper Hutt. And Zeta's mother is listed as Evelyn Olive LOWE, whose maiden name was Coles, aged 20, from Nelson. We know from Evelyn's birth certificate that her actual name was Eva, but it appears that the name Evelyn was the name she used throughout her entire life. Thomas and Eva were married on the 23rd of January 1919 in New Plymouth. When Zeta was born, in section 3, we can see that there were no living children of the marriage already existing. But in section 3b, we can see the reference to one deceased male, which was her brother Eric. And here we see the informant's information. The informant is the person who provided the information to the Registrar of Births, Deaths and Marriages. The signature at the top I can't make out, but what I can read is agent authorized in writing by mother, and this was done in Inglewood. So clearly, for whatever reason, Zeta's mother authorized this person in writing to go and register Zeta's birth. And here we can see the registrar's confirmation, and this certificate was made official on the 2nd of October 1920. And now we will look at Zeta's death certificate. Zeta passed away on the 1st of August 1959 in Weld Street, Normanby. We can see here her name, Zeta Mary Ann Hall, and notice that whoever provided this information has spelt it with an E at the end of Ann. And she's recorded as married. She was a female, aged 38 at the time of her death. Her cause of death is listed as acute left ventricular failure over a period of 3 hours. I'm not a medical expert, but that sounds to me like she had a heart attack. She also suffered from hypertension over a period of years, which contributed to her death. And I don't find this surprising, as her younger sister Mona, as well as, from what I understand, many of her other sisters also suffered from extreme hypertension and high blood pressure. And we can see that when she was deceased, the doctor who signed off on this was Dr. Armstrong on the 1st of August 1959. Zeta's parents are recorded as Thomas John Lowe, not Thomas George Frederick Lowe. And Zeta's mum is listed as Evelyn Olive Lowe. Again, the name Evelyn occurs, and Evelyn's maiden name is recorded as Cole, not Coles. Thomas's occupation was recorded as retired labourer. And we can see here that Zeta was buried in Hawera Cemetery on the 4th of August 1959. The person who officiated at the burial is shown here. I think it reads L.H. Luthard, and the denomination was Roman Catholic. And we can see here that Zeta is recorded as being born in Inglewood, where she lived for a period of 38 years, so pretty much her whole life. And here we see that Zeta was married to Henry Lewis Hall at the age of 20 in Wellington. At the time of her death, Zeta is recorded as having 4 male children aged 16, 11, 8 and 6, and what appears to be 5 female children aged 14, 10, 4, 9 and 9 weeks. I find this unusual because the ages appear out of order, which doesn't normally happen on death certificates, but for whatever reason this appears to be the case. And the informant, or the person who provided this information for the registration, is shown here, the funeral director from Hawera. So the funeral director would have been given the information by the family, I'm assuming, and has then registered Zeta's death. And we can see here the registrar signed off on this on the 4th of August 1939. Or that could actually say 1959. Yes, 1959. As stated previously, Zeta was buried at Hawera Cemetery, and we can see a photograph from the main entrance to the cemetery here. And here we see Zeta's burial plot in Hawera Cemetery. I took this photograph something like 10 to 15 years ago when I was visiting New Zealand, and at the time there was no headstone. It was as you see it. I don't know what the grave site is like today, but when I was there it was already beginning to deteriorate. Whānau, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's been informative. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them by placing comments at the bottom of the video. Feel free to offer criticisms or request other videos for information you would like to see, and I'll share that information if I have it. I look forward to making more videos and sharing them with you. If you could do me a favour, like and subscribe to the channel. I'm sure you know the drill by now. Thank you for watching. Aroha nui ahau ki a koutou. Ka kite anō.